there is controversy yet again at Ground Zero. This time it centers around a gift shop located inside the memorial set to open to the public tomorrow. And you're looking at some of the pictures. I mean, some of the items here sold, hats with the FDNY symbol, stuffed search and rescue dogs. And some people are upset over the idea of profiting from their loved ones' final resting places. But organizers of this museum, they say that covering the museum's cost of operation will require that revenue generated from the gift shop.
What we know is it's the right thing that when visitors come here, they want to take a keepsake away. This is the United States of America, and the number one thing is if you don't like what we're selling, don't buy it. The number one seller in our gift shop is a book called A Place of Remembrance, which talks about the building of the memorial.
Let me bring in 9/11 first responder and former NYPD patrolman James Ryder. James, it's an honor to have you on. Welcome.
Thank you, Brooke. It's an honor to be with you.
Just hearing from that official with the museum and the need for keepsakes, just out of the gate, do we as a nation need keepsakes from that day?
You know, I've been tossing this in my head since there. I had a terrible feeling that day, and I assured myself that I would not return until this issue is addressed. There are no bodies buried at the Vietnam Memorial, the World War I or the World War II memorials. This is a gravesite that they decided without the input of the families where those bodies would be buried. The bodies that my team tried very hard to identify and could not. So that is not like any other place, and it is not a war memorial. Don't tell me that terrorism is war. Terrorism is very different. They go after our families, they go after our children, and they go after our souls. This is not like any other place and should be treated that way.
You know, I read this article, the whole reason I'm having this discussion with you. I read this pretty poignant piece on BuzzFeed by Steve Kendall. His sister died that day, and so he reluctantly, along with you and others, had visited the museum in the last week. And so the title of his piece was "The Worst Day of My Life is Now New York's Hottest Tourist Attraction." You were just telling me in commercial when we were talking, you went to the museum last week, but you say you will never go back. Tell me why.
I will not. Because it's a place of business. It's a conglomerate. It's a corporation. It is not a place of memory, a place of solace. It is not a place to go and show regard. It's run by civilians who are business people, people who had nothing to do with running into the fire. They were probably hiding under their desks while we were down there swapping buckets for days, weeks, and months on end to try to find people and struggling to call it a rescue site as long as we could. This gentleman doesn't belong to be the person making those decisions.
We as a nation will forever mourn those lives lost, and will be forever grateful for you and so many other first responders. But at the same time, you have to hear it from the other side that this is a place where people who want to pay their respects can pay that $24 and go to that museum and do so. Not to mention that, museum officials say they need that money. They're not profiting. They need the money just to run the museum. What's wrong with that?
Well, that money is going to his, $300,000+ salary? There are a lot of different arguments and issues here, but for those that were down there that day, we are having the perspective that nobody else has. If you're going to profit from 9/11, that money should go to the families. I understand running a museum, I understand it's a business. Maybe the park police or the parks department should be running that place, or maybe the parts around that place, and have the ability to save money. I don't want to call it what you're calling it. From now on, I'm just calling it that place because it's disrespectful.
Would it matter if that place didn't sit in that place? What I mean is, that is hallowed ground. That is where thousands of lives were lost. And if that place sat elsewhere in Manhattan, would that make a difference for you?
Absolutely, and I don't think anybody will disagree with me. My assumption is respectful, but it doesn't belong in there. We don't belong in business. And let me make another point about the business aspect. Mayor Bloomberg is a multi-billionaire. He gave $50 million, and he has their ear. He has a seat on the board. I can give you $50 out of my pocket right now, and after my wife yells at me for giving you that $50, I'll tell you it doesn't mean all that much to me. I assure you, $50 million doesn't mean a lot to Mayor Bloomberg. So he has their ear. The responders that are still alive, suffering much more than I am, are sitting in a corner waiting for somebody to listen to them. That's what they're doing down there.
I don't have Mayor Bloomberg here with me to respond to what you're saying, but I do know that he has been there. He has spoken with Jake Tapper inside the museum, and I am sure he has heard questions and criticisms such as yours. And this is just something that they will have to deal with as it begins to open to the public. James Ryder, thank you so much for your perspective.
Thank you. Thank you very much.